Hello, my name is John Dischinger. I'm one of the pastors here at Walnut Hill Community Church, and I'm honored and privileged to have this time to share a few thoughts on communication and conflict in marriage. As I was thinking about what I wanted to say today, I quickly remembered that we can go online and Google pretty much anything that has to do with marriage and come up with a wealth of resources. And so what I have to share today is really nothing earth-shattering that we can't find anywhere else. And so I looked at really how God worked through our marriage, Karen's and my marriage, over 35 years, and what were kind of the three top things that we learned as we journeyed together through this covenant of marriage. And so the first one would be that God created us as individuals. He wired us all uniquely and individually and differently. And where that comes into play in a marriage is that what my desires, my perceptions, my perspectives, my wants and my needs may be very different than my wife's. And so often, I want to look at it and come into a conversation or an issue really pushing my perspective and my point of view. I think what we're called to do as husbands and wives is to set that aside and to step into our spouse's wants, needs, desires, and begin to approach it from that perspective. Believe me, that is huge in terms of how we communicate and how we step into dealing with conflict. The second thing, in addition to God creating us as unique individuals, is the power of words. My wife and I were speaking this morning, and once again, we were talking about how words can build up, how they can edify, they can encourage, they can support, they can also do just the opposite. They can tear down, they can harm, they can destroy, they can belittle, and they can cause great division and harm in a marriage. And I think what's really important is for us to stop at times as we are in the midst of maybe a heated discussion, or if we're dealing with some point of disagreement, that we stop and we think about what's coming out of our mouths. God says, Jesus says, what's in our hearts is what comes out of our mouths. And so for me, as we talk about the power of words, it all comes back to what's in our hearts, which leads me to the third point, the third learning that we've had as husband and wife, and that is the importance of inviting Jesus into our marriage on a daily basis. And that comes through our power of prayer and our prayer together, our time in our first 20, where we've elected to spend that first 20 minutes of every day together in reading God's Word and leaning into how He's speaking to us as husband and wife as we step into the day. It also includes worshiping together, that we're very active in terms of spending time during the weekend in worship and praise of Jesus. Solomon writes in chapter 4, verse 12 of Ecclesiastes, a three-stranded chord is not easily broken. And Jesus really is that third strand in a chord of this covenant called marriage and this journey that we have as we walk through life together, husband and wife. So we've been created as unique individuals. Words have power, and we can either tear our spouse down or we can build them up by what we say and how we say it. And third, Jesus is a living rock in marriage that we need to invite in. Let me close with this, just sharing some resources that Walnut Hill has to offer to you as couples. Out in our marriage ministry here, one of the key resources that we have to offer are we have a number of couples who love to come alongside of you as marriage mentor couples. These are couples who are willing to walk with you and talk with you in terms of tackling some of the tough issues you may be facing in your marriage, or the joys that you have as well. If you're interested in a marriage mentor couple, speak to any pastor, and they will let someone in the marriage ministry know, and we'll reach back out and contact you. Second, we very often have marriage enrichment seminars over the course of the year, and I'd really encourage you to take advantage of those when you see them in a weekly or in news bits or in our schedule. That is really a worthwhile investment in each other, to set an evening aside and to come and invest in each other and invest in your marriage. The content that we have in these series are excellent, and you'll find them well worth your time. And then third, there's a wealth of books and videos, CDs that we can share with you that also speak to how you can step into different areas of your marriage that have to do with communication and conflict resolution that we would love to give to you. Well, that concludes my brief period of time, and I just want to thank you again for this opportunity to share a little bit about this covenant, this holy covenant called marriage. God bless you and thank you.